Hey budget gardeners, Vita Loca here. Join me today as I show you how to collect the seeds from a nasturtium plant. So let's go. I love nasturtium. I've grown it before, but it's been a few years. I did collect some seeds from a nasturtium plant recently, so I can't wait to have it in my garden next year. I recently visited some gardens local to my house in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They are beautiful gardens and they had a lot of different annuals that were blooming, and I was lucky enough to collect seeds from there. One of the seeds that I collected were from the nasturtium plant. Nasturtium come in lots of different colors. You can get them in orange, red, yellow, even white. There are shorter mounding habits of nasturtium, but there are also the taller type, the ones that vine or trail. I'm almost sure that these are the trailing nasturtium, but I'll find out for sure next year. Fun fact, did you know that you can eat the blossom as well as the leaves on a nasturtium plant? Well, you can. Now, have I ever tried them? No, but I definitely want to give it a try. There are a few things that I find interesting when it comes to nasturtium plants and looking for the seeds. Many plants typically have a blossom, and then the blossom goes by, and then you have a seed pod, and then the seed pod turns brown, and over time you have the seeds inside of there that mature, and a lot of times the seeds are on a browner or even a black color. When it comes to nasturtium, what happens is you have a blossom, the blossom goes by, and it basically goes right to seed. And a lot of times you'll see two, three, maybe four seeds clinging together. They'll be at the base of the plant. Sometimes they'll already have come off the plant. So when it comes to collecting the seeds, what you're looking for are a green color that's circular. Again, they might be connected, they might not be, or you're able to just easily pull them off the plant. Now, when you're taking the seeds off the plant, if you're having to tug on them pretty hard, that means they're not ready yet. So you need to give it more time. They should come off pretty quickly and pretty easily. So there's a couple of rules. When you're collecting the seeds, if they are green, you want to make sure that you put them on a piece of paper or a paper towel, and you want to make sure that you let them dry for some period of time. And that period of time will vary. It might be about a week. The way you'll know that the seed is ready to be stored is it will be a tan color and it will have little dimples on it. And you'll see that the green has gone away and actually the size of the seed has shrunk a little bit. So when I collected the seeds, they were a larger size, they were green color, but time has gone by and they're no longer green, they are now a tan color. So why don't I take you in for a closer look so I can show you what the seeds look like on a nasturtium plant once they've ripened. I wanted to show you a couple of different examples of what I have here. Over here are seeds that to me look very good. They're on the larger side. They are definitely dry. When I touch them, there's no moisture left inside of them. They're definitely on the hard side. These over here are seeds that are on the smaller side. Whether or not they are viable and will actually produce a plant, we'll find out next year. I will save them, but typically you do want to collect the larger seeds, especially if you have a bunch, which in my case, I don't have a ton. But if I had a ton, I would only be keeping the larger seeds. This one over here, when I was touching it, it still felt a little wet, and I noticed it looked a little differently than these seeds over here. It doesn't have the little dimples on it. And when I take you in for a closer look, I will show you the difference between those two seeds. And here we are taking a closer look at the three examples of the seeds that I had mentioned. The ones that to me will most likely produce a nice flower, the ones that are on the smaller side that will possibly produce a flower, but no guarantee, and the one that still needs some time to dry, so it definitely will not get stored quite yet. When it comes to storing my seeds, I like to store them in a small plastic Ziploc bag. I've used these for years. It's worked for me. The key is you want to make sure when you're storing the seeds that they are completely dry, because if they're not, they are likely to rot. If you don't want to use a Ziploc bag, you can use a paper bag or some sort of a jar or container. I like to label the bag, so it says nasturtium, the color is orange, where I collected them from, and the year I collected the seeds. And I have just a dime here for reference so you can see how small the bag is that I'm using. But you can also see how large all of these seeds are that you're looking at. Here where I live in New Hampshire, Zone 5B, Nasturtium are annuals. So I do need to sow them year after year. However, there are times that they might self-sow. So you definitely want to leave some in your garden and see if they're going to self-sow, especially if you live in a colder zone like mine. But if you want to have control over where you place your nasturtium plants and you want to make sure you have plants that come up year after year, then it's wise to collect the seeds and also just grow them indoors and start them that way and then transplant them out in your garden. I hope you found this information useful. I think it can be a little tricky when it comes to collecting the seeds off of a nasturtium plant. I think we have a tendency to wait until seeds are a brown color, but that's the beauty of collecting the seeds off a nasturtium, is that you don't have to wait. At least you don't have to wait for them to ripen on the plant. You just have to wait for the seeds to ripen in your house on a piece of paper or paper towel, but it's so well worth the wait. And I can't wait to grow these next year. I've made a bunch of videos on how to collect the seeds from various annuals as well as perennials. I'll be sure to add a link to that playlist in case you want to check it out. I hope you've been able to get out in your gardens, and until the next video, make it a great day with gardening.